Hey, what's going on out there, you guys? It's your girl, Pretty Sexy Jar the Brand, aka Stunna Stetson, and we are stepping into a new territory today, tonight. Whenever you are seeing this review of HBO, Welcome to Derry, and we're going to get into episode one, which is the pilot episode. And baby, let's just say I know we're in for a treat. But you guys remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And I just want to say thank you to all my silent but deadly ninjas for joining me over here on the YouTube channel, and for always telling a friend. Oh my gosh, you guys. So, as we get into the opening of Welcome to Derry, baby, let's just say we're opening up. We're at this movie theater. um there, I guess we're getting introduced to one of our first characters, or one of our main characters, um which is a young boy. He's in a movie theater. He's sucking on a pacifier. He's seeing this film. There's an old lady, a teenage couple. Like, they're very much so showing you the detail of the movie theater and how everybody is paying attention to or watching the film. But while the young man is sitting in the movie theater, there is, the guard that comes around with the flashlight trying to make sure everybody has their ticket. He is calling out the little boy, and the little boy takes off to running because I guess he did not have his money for his ticket. But I mean, hey, baby, we're sitting probably like the 1950s or 60s. So, getting into the movies back then probably wasn't that thing. But he did look like he did not have just the best of best. But he takes off to running. The guard comes looking for him. And then we meet a father that works at the movie theater, and his daughter, which I guess is also one of our other second characters that we're going to meet. And her name is Carol, and her dad asks her if she's seen a young boy running through the hallway to the theater, and she was like, for a minute, she was like, wait, she was thinking about it because she saw him. And she was like, oh, yeah, he ran in the opposite direction. And her dad went walking. And it was kind of sweet because he was questioning her, asking her, about theater and movies and when film first started. And I thought that was kind of like a nice nod to the industry and how it got started. And then, y'all, we see the young boy come from behind there as they walk off, and the guard comes back and sees him. And baby, he takes off out that front door. And the guard says if he catches him there again, he's gonna call the police. I'm like, he's a kid. Oh my gosh, let him live. But it's also very cold, so it's like the winter. And next thing you know, we just see the young boy walking, and y'all, like, it's probably negative something or very below because you can see like his breath in the cold, but yet he's still sucking this pacifier, which I think is like a very key signifying thing. I don't know why, but I just feel it because he's just sucking on it. And the next thing you know, he's trying to hitchhike. Mind you, I keep telling y'all, it's like 1950s, 1960s. Kid out walking, hitchhiking. Most people back then, oh, it's normal. Me, no, that's not normal. No, he don't need to even be walking. First of all, he don't even be out this time of night by himself. But that's not here or there. Then the next thing you know, y'all, he is picked up by this family in a station wagon. They seem normal, but they got kind of like this creepy feel to them. The mom's like very welcoming and nurturing. The dad seems very like charming, but he gets on the back seat with the kids. The daughter seems kind of mean. She's in the teen era, okay? And the little brother keeps feeling everything. He keeps doing just like these outbursts, and the mom is pregnant, and they're talking about like birth defects and immunology on the radio. Like, y'all, it's giving like this real creepy vibe, and the boy can feel it, and he's like, can you pull over? Yeah, pull over. There's a gas station, I gotta use it. Nobody wants to pull over because the next thing you know, the family intensifies, starts spelling the word out, and the mom goes into labor. And I'm gonna just tell you this: if you got a weak stomach, please do not look at this, because, baby, when I say we see blood, we hear screams. we get a pop out. Okay, this we get a pop out, and baby, we see something not of this world. Okay, it's a baby with wings. It's a baby like a bat, and baby, he's trying to get out of this car. He's yanking on the door. Next thing you know, we see the pacifier fly out of the glass, and then y'all we get the entrance of it. Welcome to Derry, and we see a light. So down the tunnel we float, and then y'all we jump into 4 months later, and it is April, baby, and we see a army chopper or helicopter flying over the town of Derry, and we are meeting a young man. And baby, let's see what T Day is really finna give. But okay, Ed. So yes, the next thing y'all know, the army plane or chopper or the army flight I told y'all we seen that the little boy was looking at. We see it lining at the army base, and then we are introduced to some more characters. So we're introduced to some sergeants and generals and some men that were in a war in China that they have flown over. And baby, let's just say they're giving them the chance to, complete their missions that they didn't finish over there. Cause as they get on the base, as they're entering into the army base. They're riding and they're driving, baby. They notice and they see a restricted area, and I'm just like, baby, it's giving Area 51 vibes, because why is we restricted? And they're bringing him there, or one of the soldiers there to help them on a special mission. And baby, he peeped T while he was riding along with one of the generals. Okay, he they made eye contact because it was like you see, I see, you see, you see. Okay, questions, and then the soldier does say that that he's running a house inside of there because him and his family they tired of living on base. They want a sense of normalcy, especially his wife and baby. Let's just say one of the generals was like, well, or the lieutenant was like, well, there is normal as gonna be. I was like, very telling. Clock it. But then y'all, we end up going to the high school, which is very high, and baby, they got a duck and cover or turtle and cover, baby, and I'm like, oh, we in that time, we in that piece when the world was like really boom boom, blast off, all at any time the world can end. And we meet or we see this young lady entering and she's walking down the hallway. Everybody's looking at her, making these very distinctive facial expressions, and it's making her very uncomfortable. And you can tell, and she gets to her locker. When she gets to her locker, and opening up a jar of pickles fall out. She literally steps back, but you can hear like this intense cringe and just like paranoia. And then she is approaching. We find out her name is Ruth, and her friend is coming up to her telling her that she's sorry that everyone in school is being like a-holes and they shouldn't be pulling this prank. And baby, let's just say the girls walking down the hallway, they chitting and chatting, but then a friend pulled her to the side and tells her, do not pull any of this weirdo stuff because she does not want to be judged throughout this school year. And I'm like, girl, you supposed to be my friend. How you gonna pull me to the side? And then it's giving tea, okay? And so while the young ladies are walking down the hall, like I said, her friend pulls her to the side after they speak to this group of girls and, get her to talk or whatever. But like I said, girl, how you supposed to be my friend and you questioning and trying to tell me how to be? And then, they move past that. And, the girl asks her, like, about her glasses and why are they too big for her frame? And she's like, her doctor's trying to set her up Anyways, trying to get some boys' attention. And then we get back to the young man that we saw, like I said, they was seeing the military jet plane flying overhead. And baby, he and a friend in the hallway with his friend, and they're talking. And his friend asked him, "Did you not study for this?" Because he's rambling on and on and on about what they're doing could possibly happen at the military base, could possibly be getting ready to happen to the world. And baby, you can just tell it's a lot of energy, it's a lot of pizzazz. But then, y'all, we go from that scene to the army base, and baby, ain't no telling what's gonna happen because right now it's giving a lot of you gotta you gotta question, is you seeing what you seeing, what you think is what you know. All right, what's going on? So, like I said, as we get back to this army base, you feel the tension, and we find out our soldiers are actually air marshals or like high ranking on Marine Air Force One. Okay, if I'm saying it wrong, I'm sorry, but anyway, they top flight, like they get out there, they in a top level they feel, and they're meeting their new team, and let's just say majority of the team is very welcoming. We have one resistant, and the commander is handling himself very well. He's taking the introductions, but he does make it known that you gonna respect my rank, my boy. You not gonna play with me because of my skin, period. And he gets checked by head of them, okay? And that man sets a meeting up and tells him he wants to sit down, have a one-on-one, and he tells him he's sorry about, that whole situation, because they know the rules of the game. They broke it down. And then we go to back to the young boys that we saw in the hallway. And so they in their room, they in one of the boys' room. They supposed to be doing homework and studying, but the young man that we seen in the beginning overlooking the planes, going towards the military base, he's trying to look at some chicky out the window and discussing bras and like the size of them. And the other young boy is like really trying to focus on doing his homework. But then the young boy that was in the window can't see what he wants to see because the cat comes in the way. And the young boy that was doing the homework, he brings up the young man at the beginning's name, which his name is Maddie. And he says it's been 4 months since Maddie went missing. And the other boy gets hysterical and very upset. And baby, you like, what is going on? Because their friendship is so close, and you're like, why are they having this big divide? But you can kind of tell it's because one person is waiting to like acknowledge some things, and the other person is not. And then y'all, we go from that scene to our next scene, which is our girl Ruth, and she is in the restroom, and baby, she is looking at herself, looking at her hair, and I think she's really thinking deeply in thought. So apologies. Her name is Lily. And y'all, so while Lily's in the bathroom, um, she's running water in her tub, and then we get a flashback of her and Maddie and going up to where we seen the young man at the beginning of the episode. And baby, let's just say Matt, Maddie was feeling Lily, and baby, he had snuck her up there to where the boys and him used to hang out, and he tells her it's the best view of the town of Derry. And baby, they sit down and they get to talking, or more so, he's talking to her, and then he asks her, about her dad, and which this is where the pickle incident came in at the beginning of the episode, which is her dad used to work at a factory and he got inside of the machine and the machine screw basically unalived him. And you know, he was the first person to ask her, about what happened and how she was doing. And we find out about her friend group, which are the Patty Cakes. Real odd name, but also too, it's the times. So, you know, she tells Maddie that, she's seeing that she's different from like Marge, which is the young girl that we seen with the glasses on, and the rest of them, and then she's realizing that she's different. And Maddie tells her, well, it's good, for the better. It's not for the worse. And then fireworks go off very romantically, and he tries to kiss her, but she pulls back because she says that they're just friends. And Maddie kind of like hurry up and quickly leaves, grabs his things, and takes off. And you know, Lily is thinking about this in her bathroom. Then her mom comes knocking at the door, telling her that they're going to visit her father's grave tomorrow. And she tells her mom, or expresses to her mom, she's not ready to go. And her mom tells her, well, not only tragic things happen to you, they happen to everyone. The sooner you realize that, the better you'll be. I was like, not really trying to console her. She was kind of like, okay then. And the next thing you know, our girl Lily started hearing noises coming from out of her bathroom drain. And baby, she starts saying, Maddie, if it's you, come home. Maddie, if you hear me, please come home. And the next thing y'all know, we get a very intense finger pop up through. And Maddie says, he won't let me. Finger disappears, drop back up, two fingers. And then, baby, we go from there to the next day, and we are at school. And it was our girl Lily telling um, Marge about what she heard and what had happened. And, baby, they see the patty cakes. Marge, they speak. Marge, hurry up and grab Lily and took us to the bathroom. It's like, hey, keep that to yourself. We ain't gonna talk about that through these halls. And I'm looking like, girl, you supposed to be my friend. What is the tea? Then somebody poop in the bathroom. They come out, and Lily was like, "Girl, like you acting like I'm doing something wrong because I'm telling you about this." Pretty much, they get into like a disagreement as friends. And next thing you know, we leave that scene and we get out with the boys, and they's riding the bikes, talking, and getting down the pathway. Period. And guess what? The boys are going to their location. And guess who they run into or see sitting there? It is our girl, Lily. And baby, she is telling the boys about her experience. But they also are in shock about her being there and saying she came to them because Maddie was their friend. And they said, well, only one of them said it was complicated. And they have like a back and forth trying to believe if she's telling the truth about what happened, also trying to tie in if that was possible, he would have to know a lot of key information. And they're just like, should we trust her? Should we not? I don't know. Baby, when I say this is intense, it's intense. But then, so yes, y'all. So now we are back on the army base with the lieutenant and the major. And baby, this is the meeting they was talking about having earlier. This is gonna be tea. So, like I said, the lieutenant and the major were having a conversation, and they sit down, they have a drink. Um, the lieutenant tells, the major and sergeant, that problem you had earlier, it's been corrected. It's been fixed. You ain't got to worry about that no more. And, they go over his record and their reasons for joining the army and what it just means to both of them. And I think this is like a very powerful moment. And also, there's a very good and deep quote within this scene. So I definitely think everyone should check this part out, especially between two men from different backgrounds having an experience and conversation. But then as we go from that scene to our next scene, we get to the young boy's house and come to find out he is Jewish and they're blessing their meal and their water, their bread and their water are giving thanks. I think I heard someone say from Rejects Nation, Tara. So after blessing the meal, the young boy asks his father, like, if it was possible for someone to keep a child underground and like torture them or like for them to be able to talk through the pipe system, and the boy's father gives him a very realistic life lesson versus a fiction that I think the father thinks that the boy is making up in his mind, which is their family, his great grandparents experienced the Holocaust, and they know better than anyone about torture and suffering and pain. And that leaves the boy kind of within a wandering mind state. But after their dinner, the young boy is in his room and he's reading a comic book. And the next thing you know, this is when things go awry because as he's reading, his light is flickering and his light is like popping on and off, and then at one point it turns into a bunch of faces or skin and hair, and the boy is in his room, petrified, and no one has came to his rescue. And then when his brother finally comes to open the door, his brother says, "I can't believe we're related." Really, sir? I could have just been eaten. So yes. After that, we into the next day, and guess what? The boys are telling Lily about what happened in his room, and they now are believing Lily about what she says she heard in his occurrence. Should believe my girl from Jump. Then they go to the library. They start trying to uncover and dig up information. We meet one of the boys' younger siblings, which is his little sister, and I think she has a crush on his friend, but cannot tell, because she's talking to him and letting him know she can write curses and all these other things. But he sends her on a little adventure as they are looking for Maddie's story, and then they come across it. And Maddie was last seen on January 4th at the movie theater, which is the night or day he went disappearing, which is the scene that we seen, I believe, at the beginning of the movie. I mean, of the show, not the movie. Oh my gosh. Y'all, they see that there was an anonymous, but about a 12-year-old girl that worked at the movie theater. So Lily and one of the boys already knew who they were talking about in the paper, and baby, they went flying to her house. They went questioning, asking her about, the night at the movie theater and all types of things. And she got off on them, which I don't blame her because she was like, "Do you not know how many times the cops came around here questioning about my daddy? And maybe you coming around here questioning about some boy that's missing." And then, she tells them to leave, but then they start talking about they heard voices down the drain. And baby, that's when they got homegirls' ears and teeth. Do you hear me? But yes. As we go to our next scene, baby, we are at the army base, and it is nighttime, and it is our sergeant major, and he is getting ready for bed, and baby, he is looking at a picture of his family, and it's like it's just uh, let's just say it's giving normal. It's giving a normal night. It's giving normal vibes. Baby, he cut this light off, and next thing you know, all double H hockey sticks break loose because there are men with gas masks on, guns. They asking him what the specs, what give up the specs, which I think means code for information. And he's like, "No, I'm not giving it up. No, I'm not giving it." Like he ain't going down without a fight. He ain't going down without a battle. And let's just say him and his friend that we seen earlier that they staying on the same highway subdued these men, took them out, real live action, period. Yes, y'all. So as we get into the next scene, baby, the children have gathered. They have left their homes. They didn't start putting clues together. They didn't, let's just say they didn't start solving the crime. They didn't got the key. They didn't got got in. They watching this movie. Baby Maddie then popped up on this screen. They hearing this song. They seeing Maddie. Girl, next thing you know, Double HE hockey sticks breaking loose. That's all I can say. Cause we got kids flying, we got kids missing, we getting kids ate up, we getting bodies being thrown. We breaking out of movie theaters rooms. Yep, but you know our girl Lily, she pulled through. I don't know, but she pulled through. And baby, of course, our girl had to come say today. She had grabbed the hammer. She was ready. She was ready for the weapons. She was gonna come in there cracking on them. Okay, and it didn't go that way. But y'all, we get Lily up out of the movie theater, and she is holding the hand of the little sister. And baby, I'm like, see it, welcome there. Y'all ain't playing fair. This is only the first episode, and this is how y'all coming. I wasn't expecting this. I wasn't ready for this. Assassins, was y'all ready for this? Because I wasn't ready for this. Anyway, y'all, it's been your girl, Pretty Sexy Y'all the Brand, aka Star Sticks. And until next time, your girl is out. Bye.